It's the best and most entertaining evening show on radio. Adora and Ashawn are your inspiration station.
Your inspiration station. Woo! 99 FM.
In the news tonight, City of Windhoek secures 155 million Namibian dollar loan for new power substation to avoid load shedding.
The International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future, a hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUM for life. We are IUM.
Good evening, I'm Tonata Kavila. In the news tonight, stigma against HIV and AIDS still remains an issue in Namibia. Former refugees accuse cabinet of unfair treatment. Women remain underrepresented in senior science positions. Human-animal interaction aggravates zoonotic diseases, says Masabane. And Business on One, Comments Corner, Sports and the weather. Former Health Minister and Presidential Advisor Bernard Haufiku has expressed concern with the fact that many people living with HIV and AIDS still face stigmatization and discrimination in the country. Haufiku was speaking at an event held in Goriangap, Windhoek on Saturday that brought together stakeholders and activists in order to raise awareness on HIV and AIDS stigma as well as discrimination.
Haufiku referred to a study conducted by the City of Windhoek in 2021, which found that 54% of persons living with HIV and AIDS still face stigma and discrimination at the workplace. The City of Windhoek confirmed the study was conducted, stating that an internal drive took place and that the results were released last year in March. Haufiku said he was surprised that the issue is still prevalent in the country and that more needs to be done by lawmakers to address these problems.
I think this is not something unique to the City of Windhoek. It's just a yardstick of what it really is in terms of stigma and discrimination in Namibia. In the private sector, I believe in government, in all sorts of organizations, I think stigma and discrimination is still an issue. That is more at the personal and community level. The biggest discrimination we have is the denial of people to have access to things like condoms in prison. And I have voiced my voice something like 5 years ago, that everyone who deserves to have services and products regarding HIV should have access to it without any hindrance.
News on One spoke to Emmanuel Shefeni, the founder of Emmanuel Shefeni AIDS Foundation, which was established a decade ago to create awareness in the community on HIV and AIDS. He shared the sentiments of Haufiku and highlighted the importance of the initiative that create awareness on HIV and AIDS.
The stigma surrounding HIV is still high, and that is why we should keep on fighting and keep on creating awareness, because if we don't do this, a lot of people are going to be infected, a lot of people are going to drop their medication, and this is too risky for the country as well.
Among the speakers at the event was activist Emma Tuahepa, who came all the way from Grootfontein. She has been living with HIV and AIDS for nearly 3 decades and gave a testimony of her first-hand experience of stigma and discrimination.
So when it comes to stigma, people putting spots on HIV-positive people, it's going to be a long run, and aspects of ignorance, and aspects of misunderstanding, and aspect of not having enough information. So people will always try to put a spot on somebody who is infected with HIV. The other issue is that There's also something that we call self-stigmatization, because that's something that I really pick up very much with the current. I'm dealing with very close people living with HIV. And I started learning the fear of the unknown. And then when you are starting to stigmatize yourself, it's a belief of what you think people will say about you. You know, that becomes, it's self-inflicted, it's within.
The event was followed by a soccer tournament, and the organizer Emmanuel Shefeni said it will become an annual event.
Swipe on it and win! Come bank with us and stand a chance to win the grand prize of an eco-friendly hybrid vehicle or one of 40 fuel vouchers worth $40,000 Namibian.
Full tank, I believe.
To enter, simply make any purchase using your Bank Vintage Visa debit or credit card between the 1st of October 2022 and the 31st of March 2023. With your Bank Vintage Visa card in hand, let's journey together with every swipe. Visit bankvintage.com.na for more information. Protect yourself against fraud and never share your PIN. T's and C's apply. Bank Vintage, a member of Capricorn Group.
Members of the former Refugees Repatriation Association of Namibia have handed over a petition to the National Assembly in which they expressed their grievances over alleged discriminatory treatment by the Department of Veterans Affairs under the Ministry of Defence. According to the members, the amended provision of grants by Cabinet has led to disparities in the payment of monthly allowances.
John Amadila read the petition on behalf of the group. Amadila stated that the revised Cabinet's decision of 2014 is not inclusive, as many veterans feel left out of the benefits they are entitled to, and as a result, the majority of members are exiting the ruling party in search of greener pastures.
The Cabinet revised decision was done in the year 2014 in December, but is discriminatory because it means to give pension only to ex-plant combatants with in the struggle for the liberation of Namibia. The war was waged on the four fronts, namely diplomatic, political, military, student. That all the comrades who were in exile must be given that proposed pension. We are humbly requesting His Excellency President Hage Geingob to remove the following people from the Department of Veteran Affairs, and they are as follows: Honorable Franz Kapofi, Honorable Hima Mikanola, Honorable Master Tedeus Erao, the Director. They must be removed with immediately effect because of ill-treating veterans.
Amadila further called on the Cabinet to extend their fair treatment to each individual who was born in exile.
Buyback pension, the buyback pension meant for ex-plant combatant only, must be given to all those who were in exile, including our children who were born in exile. Because discrimination is not needed among the comrades who were abroad. Hence, all of them contributed to the liberation of Namibia equally, and not one of them should feel left out.
The petition was received by Lydia Kandetu, the Secretary to the National Assembly, who assured the refugees of positive consideration of their demands.
So it's very, very highly regarded.
I'm very, very happy and very honored to be with you here to receive this petition, because I know that you know that we are not forgotten, because you know where Parliament is, your last resort. So this petition is in good hands. So I just want to assure you that positive results will come out of this. So with that few words, I would like to thank you so much, and you are really very much respected. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Women in Namibia remain underrepresented in science, technology, engineering, as well as mathematics or STEM senior positions or the upper levels of such positions. This despite gender balance in academic science and at undergraduate level improving as more women study science courses. This came to light at the observation of the International Day of Women and Girls in Science at the University of Namibia UNAM main campus in Windhoek last week.
Speaking at the event, the molecular geneticist at UNAM, Theopoline Amushenje, shared insight into the current state of gender balance in the STEM and science sectors by stating there is a need to bridge the gender gap nationally and globally.
While the gender balance in academic science at undergraduate level is now about equal, perhaps up to master's level in Namibia, women are underrepresented in senior STEM positions or the upper levels of these professions. It is also a fact that certain STEM disciplines and scientific technology, such as digital information technology, computing, physics, mathematics, and engineering, they remain overwhelmingly male-dominated, especially at the upper levels of these professions. These are the fields that are driving the digital revolution and so many of the jobs of tomorrow. For us to achieve gender equality in STEM requires concerted efforts of all stakeholders: government, private sectors, parents, schools, institutions of higher learning, business community, civil society.
The Pro-Vice Chancellor of Research, Innovation and Development at UNAM, Anisha Peters, stated that with Namibia planning on being a green hydrogen hub, women are largely absent in taking on fields in the green hydrogen space.
The world's focus is now on green hydrogen in the quest for decarbonization, and Namibia wants to become a leading green hydrogen hub. The field of green hydrogen has the potential to create new avenues for girls and women in STEM to make significant contributions and drive innovation in this rapidly growing industry within the value chain of green hydrogen. Women are largely absent, also in Namibia. Namibia is no exception to this.
Green hydrogen technology will require significant interdisciplinary collaboration, including contributions of both male and female experts.
Nine hopeful teams have started an epic journey of a lifetime from all corners of the Rainbow Nation to make their way to host city Nelson Mandela Bay to take part in the world's toughest outdoor cooking competition.
Put it down! Put it down! I was using my hands as a tong.
But if this year's hopefuls think that they've got the game sussed out, that it's going to be an easy ride into the final, they are sorely mistaken. To stay in the game, they will not only have to earn the right to compete in the final, but prove that they deserve their place around my fire.
Second team to be eliminated from the game is...
In a game where anything can happen, where one slip-up can end a team's epic journey,
what are you doing here?
Where their time on the road depends on brilliant food prepared on the open fire.
This is horrid.
Only the team that consistently impresses the judges in a journey that will crisscross the Eastern Cape will get their prize-singed fingers on over R500,000 in cash and prizes and this year's title. It's winner take all for the team that can survive being under fire. Game on.
The Deputy Executive Director in the Ministry of Health and Social Services has said that stakeholders need surveillance in disease and flood-prone areas as post-flood periods normally present numerous unexplained animal deaths. Petronella Masabane explained that the interconnection between humans, animals, plants and their shared environments opens gaps for the emergence and spread of new diseases. Therefore, stakeholders need to come up with strategies and interventions for early detection and take instant action.
According to Masabane, who addressed participants at a Windhoek-based workshop at the Namibia One Health stakeholders meeting earlier today, zoonotic refers to diseases that are transferred from animals to humans that share the same vegetation or natural environment. Masabane said that other than rabies and foot and mouth as well as lung disease vaccinations in cattle, zoonotic diseases have not received enough attention given a lack of surveillance due to little collaboration between the Ministry of Agriculture, the Ministry of Environment and the Ministry of Health.
Recognizing the interconnection between people, animals, plants, and their shared environment. Increase in the movement of populations, climate change, and habitat overlap between humans and animals provide new opportunities for the emergence and spread of diseases that adversely impact both human and animal health as well as food security.
The Control Health Program Officer of the Ministry of Health and Social Services, Emi Elsa Ndevaitela, reiterated that one of the main gaps in the mitigation of zoonotic diseases is minimal engagement from the Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Tourism, as they are primarily in charge of wildlife.
In Namibia, when we have one confirmed Crimean Congo hemorrhagic fever case, that's transferred to an outbreak because that's how our threshold is. I have mentioned the rabies. Of course, you see over the past just over 6 years, close to now, entering the 7th year, we have already, I think, around 37 cases.
Wildlife veterinarian from the Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Tourism, Jane Sharp, said that humans often interact with livestock and livestock often coexist with wildlife, creating a significant risk of undetected disease transmission to livestock, which is unknowingly ingested by humans.
We had the anthrax outbreak, which is now becoming endemic. It is endemic in Etosha National Park for more than 20-30 years now, but the Babwata Buffalo Core region anthrax outbreak, that is becoming a regular thing that's going to happen every single year because the spores are now in the soil. So every year when the river's at its lowest, all the animals sort of concentrate on the floodplains and we start to see an outbreak again. Because of this, I think this is where the One Health approach is extremely important, and the collaboration between Ministry of Agriculture and Ministry of Health, as well as all other stakeholders, to make sure that livestock is vaccinated annually against anthrax, and that everyone living along the riverside knows the dangers of anthrax and consuming bodies where they don't know what the reason for its death was.
The workshop revolves around formulating a One Health strategy among Namibian stakeholders through surveillance to better manage zoonotic diseases.
Welcome to Business on One. Former forklift driver at the Namibia Breweries Limited, Reynold Wilson, is demanding disability compensation from his former employer after he was diagnosed with a medical condition that he says was caused by on-the-job heavy-duty labor.
In an interview with News on One, Wilson, who was previously employed at NBL since 1996, explained that in 2014, the company took him and other employees for medical checkups. Wilson alleges that the checkups found that he was suffering from chronic neck pain and that it was recommended that Wilson begin taking on lighter duties. Wilson, however, alleges that despite the diagnosis and the medical recommendation, his manager kept him in the same post, after which his condition worsened, and he claims led to him resigning from the company later that same year.
Ndiye umbapiro ndiye anja pefimbo ndiye anja kumanager anje ku Jeffrey Pashi oyajo manager anje fimboro onge okakapikira no kuforce nge ndikalongero nga the same ne fikporo ndaka bakalongifange ondeki hanga ndombokero opuwa andiko spangero manga ndirimo sick leave vota shango ta longifa umwe omo safe department tapenga ye rizata ina panga ngekucha ungundi wanjani na wepa kilonga anu wepa kedola okamba nike inoshina kwa ni fashashu njorore wa faila kedola nandikipa ngifame mwene so ondaka karandine ndiri mo peresa unene ya manager fio tashike tandikali zaini ndalize ina 2014 amu akakarane andilandro kambani kucha eshindaningiraho kambani kashiripu yuki pachango amandi ponokerwa ko kumeninja amohande hama anu botafu sange ndilongiro nga desima manga doctor ashango bapila vimona so oshonese keti fandikali zaini unene mukoperesa meninja ti akurana kwali yakufa ombinga ati nandi cancel orizeina yange bashunenge mbiro ombapira yashangwa kumenening director eyo ndatinda 2014 shashape shapo kamba nishiku cho ndinu psaka diwashiki ngengo atale pendi tenai ndani ngiro o kamba ni ufana ku doctor wo ni angilengo check up ndeta monongu upsaka mafiko mirongo mbaina 5 mo jantilongo no pendi tena ndeta pikire kulongi fange desikucho ndinu psakati erizata dovene kwatara ko kambani kwedi holekangi ye tapenge oni ombapira ayo kuipange iturame kutu atina ndi sheinapa eta sheinapa nditalele ku manager anje ko shakati votalo ngifange 2011 12 13 14 oponeti kamonike upsakajo ku doctor specialist.
The Namibia Breweries Limited Group Manager for Corporate Relations, Rushay Locke, in a response explained the events that led up to Wilson's resignation to News on One. She noted that when Wilson resigned, NBL had advised him to cancel his resignation and offered him alternative light-duty employment while carrying out medical examinations at NBL's costs for a second opinion to further guide the company's decision on Wilson's career.
During the year 2014, Wilson Reinold, who was an employee of NBL at the time, reported an alleged injury on duty of his neck/back. He was then referred to the neurosurgeon specialist in Ongudiva for assessment. Now, according to the neurosurgeon report, Wilson is suffering from what they refer to as cervical spondylosis, which the MRI scan demonstrated multi-level degenerative disc disease with cervical stenosis of the spine. The neurosurgeon then further recommended cervical rhizotomy, which is basically an invasive procedure to treat the neck and back, or to treat neck and back pain resulting from arthritis of the facet joints of the spine. Now, when Wilson resigned from NBL in 2014, and to be exact, in May 2014, NBL had offered him alternative employment, which was basically light duty as recommended by a medical specialist.
And that is all we have for you. Be sure to follow us on our social media pages for more on the business front.
Now look at the comments corner, your daily dose of comments from our social media pages. The mother of the 10-year-old girl who was allegedly shot while the police were pursuing a suspect at Oshakati in the Oshana region last week has questioned why the police officer has not been arrested. After the shooting incident, the 42-year-old mother stated that the police only arrested the cell phone theft suspect and not the police officer. Armando wants the police officer to be arrested. Eddie said the family needs the assistance of a lawyer. Shippo described the family as God-fearing because all they want is a visit from the shooter. Lovisa, meanwhile, is shocked that the shooting took place in an overcrowded location. Martha said the shooter must face justice for the crime. Hilia wishes the little one a speedy recovery. That is all from Comments Corner. Be sure to engage on our stories on our social media pages for broadcast on News on One. And now for the latest from the sport front. A two-week football tournament consisting of 20 participating teams kicked off last Saturday at Windhoek's Goriaangap Sport Field. The event was hosted by the Emmanuel Shefeni AIDS Foundation and is aimed at keeping the youth active and engaged in sport activities.
One of the tournament organizers, Simon Ilonga, told Sports on One that the winning team will be awarded with 20 gold medals as well as a trophy and 4,000 Namibian dollars in prize money.
First prize will go with 4,000 Namibian dollars. Second place will go with 3,000, and semi-final also will go with 1,500 each. And then there's also silver and gold medals, 20 silver medals, 20 gold medals.
Ilonga has requested Good Samaritans to assist him by donating soccer balls and other equipment that will enable him to run a successful league for the community at Korea Hub.
We need some a sponsor, especially we can see how the bad soccer field is. So we are asking any Samaritans just to come and help us with small that is saving. So we need even those football equipment, like we need balls and we need nets and everything. Anyone who can help us, he can come through and then he talk to us. So I appreciate it.
In addition, Emmanuel Shefeni, who is the founder of an AIDS foundation, said the aim of the tournament is to bring the young people together to deliver a message on HIV or AIDS awareness and to help keep youth off the streets.
We have 20 soccer teams that are participating. The registration is for free. The teams do not pay to participate in the tournament, and we are expecting to complete the tournament in 2 weeks' time.
The two-week tournament is scheduled to end this coming Saturday, the 18th of February, 2023.
That's all the sport news we had for you. Please stay tuned for your weather forecast.